All right, so we're going to get started. Hi, everyone. My name is John. I'm a student success coordinator here at the Green program. On the call, you'll see a couple other people. We've got two of our ambassadors and my colleague Lauren, who's going to be working on the chat bar, answering some of your questions. But if you want, like real fast, just hover over the Zoom at the bottom and you'll see an option for the chat bar. And you can feel free to go ahead and write in your name and a program that you're interested in. And yeah, ask some questions throughout the entire time and we'll answer them all the way at the end. Yeah, I just want to set the tone for this, let you know that we're really excited that you're here with us. We're excited to talk a little bit about the background of who the Green program is, how we came to be where we are. We're going to go over each of the programs and hear from two of our alumni firsthand. And we're going to do some juicy trivia as well throughout, so get ready to participate. A quick note just about the COVID situation. I just wanted to say that in response to that ongoing situation and the possibility of further travel restrictions, like our team at the Green program is offering modified program schedules, and we're working with all of our students who are attending the programs. So we'll talk a lot about this later, but I just kind of wanted to reiterate and let you know that you can enroll on a TGP program with confidence. You'll know that if the program is affected by any COVID-19 travel restrictions, we offer all of these flexible terms for you to switch your program or receive a full credit towards a future program. So basically, we commit to helping you get to an incredible destination to study sustainable development abroad in the real world when it's safe. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. I know that it's probably been difficult and you've been taking online classes, you've been kind of coming to a new normal. So yeah, thanks for spending this time with us. And we're just excited to share about how TGP will help you grow academically and professionally this summer and in the near future. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video and then we'll go ahead and start and meet all the people on the call. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to introduce everyone. I want to introduce myself first. My name is John. I'm a student success coordinator, so I'm kind of like your mentor and coach, walking you through the entire process from start to finish. Yeah, my study abroad experience was that I studied biology in undergrad, and I ended up studying abroad in Thailand in sustainable development with organic agriculture, people living in the forest. And yeah, kind of how that experience really offset me for my future was it really prompted me to think more critically about my own experience and understanding sustainable development. And seeing it from a Thai perspective was just so important. And I ended up going back and teaching those courses for 2 or 3 years. And yeah, when I came to the Green program, I just really appreciated how instead of it being a semester long program, it was something that was short term and more accessible. So yeah, we'll talk to some of the people who came on our programs and hear from them about why they chose the Green program. So yeah, our first person is Annette.
Hi, so I'm Annette. I'm a chemical engineering student from Monash in Australia. And through attending many campus events, I was fortunate enough to hear about the Green program as one of the ambassadors last year presented his experience. As soon as I heard about the Green program and its goals and what they provided, I was immediately intrigued and decided to apply. And as you can see, I did join the Peru program and we focused on water resource management and sustainable development.
Oh, thanks, Annette. Thanks for waking up early and joining us. I am so excited to hear more about your experience in Peru. Yeah, we have another alumni on the call with us. Davis, how about you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Everybody, I'm Davis. I went on the Iceland program last winter. I was referred to the program by my brother, who went on the Japan program 2 or 3 years ago. I can't quite remember, but I really was looking for a short study abroad experience as well. And honestly, TGP fit all the things I wanted out of that experience and much more, honestly.
Sweet. Thanks, Davis. Looking forward to hearing more about your time in Iceland, and can't believe there's like a family lineage now. That's incredible. Yeah, we'll have your kids and grandkids, and we'll just keep going. Well, great. Let's talk a little bit more about the Green program. So as you can see here, I mentioned it earlier, we're short-term experiential education for our world's most pressing issues in sustainable development. So what does that look like? Basically, we've developed this innovative model for you to have experiential education abroad. So we're providing you with this like purposeful, real world experience through impactful education, travel, and adventure. So at Green, we envision this like sustainable future that's driven by global citizens like you. We want you to catalyze change. We want you to propel communities and organizations towards sustainability goals and climate resilience. And we'll talk about why it's so important to do that now. But yeah, first, Annette, would you tell me and everyone joining us a little bit more about what caught your eye about the Green program model and, eventually propelled you to apply?
Yep, sure. So what caught my eye was how much each program had to offer for such a short amount of time. I knew I wasn't able to get this type of experience from just attending university, and I was really propelled to apply when I realized that not only was the Green program about adventure, but they also provided hands-on learning and really focused on sustainable development. I knew that this type of program will allow me to step out of my comfort zone as well as develop various skills.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that too, Annette, when we go to the Peru, but that's incredible. I'm glad that you recognize that. So yeah, after talking a little bit more about just the what, I think it's important to know more about the why. So why do we exist? So I want to take you back to the beginning. It's the only way to understand it. So about 10 years ago, our CEO and founder was in Costa Rica on spring break. And while there with a couple of their friends, they ended up stumbling upon this renewable energy wind facility. And I don't know the exact details, but somehow they got to the front door. They met an industry professional who was like, "What are you doing here?" And they were like, "Yo, we would love to learn more about the history of what's going on in Costa Rica with renewable energy," and tour the facility. And they actually were like, "All right, let's go." So they toured it and they realized just the impact of what that short trip had on all of their lives. And they recognized the need for just like short-term career-focused programs with that classroom component, and then also this opportunity to dive into the field. So when we go abroad, we like want you to experience sustainable development firsthand, and you're experiencing it with some of the top and leading industry professionals in the world. And kind of in our minds, like our programs are short so that you don't have to make a choice between research, a job, an internship, and study abroad. We really do want you to have it all. And so that's how we came up with this 8 to 10 day model. So in our 10-day promise here, I'm going to go over each of these different pieces of all of our programs. And I talked a little bit about that exclusive industry access. So our programs will bring you and all of the students behind the scenes to some of the world's top renewable energy facilities and educational sites. So, and that kind of looks like getting hands-on experience and insight. An example is like the Daini nuclear facility in Japan, where you're suiting up and standing underneath a nuclear core. And on the other hand, like the largest geothermal facility in Iceland, we're going to go there and see the technology, see how they're growing. And every time students are telling us new things about how it's developing. So we get you behind the scenes and want you to have this access and a tour with that professional. The next one you see on there is that career acceleration. And we'll talk more about this, but in a nutshell, it's kind of like after you complete the program, you're connected to a global alumni network of more than 3,200 like-minded student leaders, Annette, Davis, and 3,198 more, right? And what we do here is we give you leadership development programs and weekly career emails. And I'll go into more detail, but that's just kind of a little taste. And then we have these cutting edge academics, this custom curriculum. So all of our programs are accredited by university partners in each of those destinations. So you can seek credit for our programs by just bringing a syllabus to your academic advisor. And you know, whether or not you're seeking that credit, like our professors there really care about your learning and they're experts in the field. So they built this like custom curriculum exclusive for our green program students with each of those program destinations and topics in mind. And when I say experts, like I mean experts. In Nepal, one of your professors wrote Nepal's energy policy. So you're learning from these incredible people. And while you're abroad, like how can you not have an exposure to like a new culture and adventure and everything it has to offer? So we're connecting you with that opportunity, with the local people that are there, and you're challenged to step outside of your comfort zone, like Annette said. This might look like hiking on a glacier in Iceland. And what that looks like is you're like, we want you to trip over the truth and realize the repercussions. Like if we lose our planet's largest source of water, fresh water, we want you to see it firsthand and we want you to recognize it and feel the urgency. And lastly, our programs are inclusive, which means the program fee covers everything in country. And that will range somewhere around like 4,000 to 4,700 US dollars. And that's your coursework, your accommodations, those expert professors, all those site visits when we're going behind the scenes, the adventure excursions, all of your meals, which are incredible, my favorite part about traveling, the in-country transportation, these professional guides that grew up in these areas telling you about their experience while leading you everywhere. And so, yeah, it's all included in that fee. And the only thing that students will need to cover is the flight, the cost of travel and medical insurance, and any discretionary funding. So once our students arrive to our program destinations, we worry about all the details so that you can maximize your 8 to 10 days. All right, so Davis, talk to us a little bit about the 8 to 10 days. Why was a short-term education abroad option the best fit for you?
Well, I study mechanical engineering, and as all of us engineering majors know, it's a pretty busy schedule, not the most fun. I really wanted to graduate on time with the rest of my class, and I didn't want to waste any internship opportunities, like you said. So honestly, it was basically the only option for a study abroad program in my field. So that's why I chose TGP.
Cool. Thanks, Davis. So yeah, we're gonna now move into all the different programs and give you a little bit more information about them. So before we jump into Iceland, I want to do a quick trivia. And so everyone pull out that chat bar. And I'm gonna ask you a quick question. So many Icelanders believe in what mythical creature? I'll give you 3 options. You can choose from elves, mermaids, or fairies. So give you a second to write it in there. Annette, I need your answer. Lauren, let's see what you got. But I'll tell you the answer and we'll keep moving. So the answer is elves. They believe in elves, which when you talk to our program guides, I want you to ask them about elves. So Davis, when you're on the program, like tell us a little bit more about studying renewable energy, innovation, sustainability. Did you see any elves? Go over all of it for us.
So when I went, it was winter, so it was around the holiday season. So we actually got passed around this book of all the elves that you're talking about. They're very ugly. That's all I can tell you. But honestly, there's so much that went into this 8 to 10 days. I forget how long mine was exactly. It might have been 8 or 9. I don't think I got the full 10, but Obviously, you get all the lectures on the renewable energy there, which I was really interested in as a mechanical engineering major. But every day is like jam-packed full of different things, whether it's nature, like hikes, the glacier walk that you go on, whether you're visiting the city, one of the 150 swimming pools in Reykjavik, Iceland. It's not a very big city, and they don't need 150 swimming pools, but um, they definitely don't, you won't get bored on this trip. They get you up early and you're working till night. You're either having fun or working on your capstone. Um, Honestly, much more than I expected. It lived up to everything and exceeded everything that I expected. So.
Oh, thanks, Davis. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Davis just mentioned the Iceland traditional model where you're going there and sort of experiencing it all at once. And so I wanted to respond to the next one where we actually have this new program model. So yeah, some of the students who selected this model that I've talked to this past week have chosen to do this because they want to have the full picture of renewable energy and innovative policy at once. And then when they travel, they get to like experience it all. So our goal with this option is so that you don't have to put your education and professional development on hold. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, please put it in the chat bar at the bottom. Like I mentioned, we'll answer all the questions at the end. But I want to talk about our next program here in Japan and actually give you some more trivia. So there are well over how many vending machines in Japan? You've got three options, A, B, and C. So there's well over 500,000, well over 3 million, or 5 million. So in that chat bar at the bottom, go ahead and put that in there. And yeah, we'll see if anyone gets the answer right. Great. So the answer is 5 million, the largest amount. So vending machines have everything from drinks and snacks and flowers to light bulbs. So yeah, basically this Japan program is really interesting. And it has kind of a history behind it. So I'll talk about that first. On March 11th, 2011, Fukushima, Japan was hit by a 9.0 magnitude earthquake. And in addition to this massive tsunami with waves like as high and taller than 10 meters. And as a result, the nuclear power plant experienced 3 nuclear meltdowns, hydrogen air chemical explosions, and the release of radioactive smoke. So you can imagine that a lot of these things together would make it really difficult for the community to recover. And as a result, Fukushima said that by 2040, they want to have 100%, be on 100% renewable energy, and they're actually on track. So if we were to transfer that information to our home country, it's really interesting to see in that case study what are those challenges. And studying nuclear and renewable energy, the pros and cons in context of a major disaster. So here you're studying classes at the university there with nuclear and renewable energy in Japan, the process of decommissioning and radiation. You're visiting a geothermal power plant, Japan's Atomic Energy Agency, and as I mentioned, the Fukushima Daini nuclear power plant. So there students, have test drove some nuclear cleanup robots, and they've experienced the inside of that reactor. Yeah, and some of these like experiences too, like we're gonna visit Tokyo, some historic cities. You're gonna go to the oldest samurai school in Japan. And yeah, it's just like a really awesome opportunity for you to learn all of that in that context. So next, I wanna talk a little bit about the Nepal program. Here, again, has like a really interesting history. So in 2015, they had a 7.8 magnitude earthquake, which knocked out 30% of the energy infrastructure. So now it's like an awesome opportunity to go in and learn from the graduate school and take a graduate course with Kathmandu School of Development Studies and with Give Power, an organization that's going to work with you to design and implement a microgrid system. And this is an opportunity for you to study the history of Nepal, learn about local knowledge, stakeholder engagement, for you to see the actual impact of the development of local communities and their livelihoods and how off-grid microgrid systems do that. Here, you're doing a homestay. We have some World Heritage sites that we're going to be visiting and some yoga and meditation as well. And yeah, we actually just released the dates for Nepal today. So if you're interested in the December or January program, feel free to contact me and I'd love to talk to you more about it or connect you with an alumni. But speaking of alumni, our last program that we're going to talk about is the Peru program. And Annette, I know you went over this a little bit before, but we're so thankful to have you talk about it. Would you let everyone know who's joined us about, yeah, your experience in Peru?
Yeah, sure. So we did focus on water resource management and sustainability, but I believe the best part of the Peru program was that we weren't just stuck in a lecture room, but we were immersed in the culture and were actually able to see the problems that the communities faced on a daily and how the Peruvian government was trying to handle them. We also were able to visit a variety of sites such as the water treatment facility, the hydroelectric facility as well, and we also got to zip line through Santa Teresa and visited Tipon where we got to do field tests and do hands-on activities. Yeah.
You're muted.
Hey, John, I just think you're muted.
Yeah, Annette, thanks so much for sharing that. Pretty much what I said was just that we really appreciate hearing more about your time in Peru, and I'm sure students who have more questions, like I'll get them in touch with you and Davis, and they can reach out with more information. But yeah, both of you, Annette and Davis, completed a capstone project, which happens on all of our different programs. So I'll talk a little bit more about what the capstone project is, and then we'll get to hear more about what your exciting capstone was. So yeah, the capstone project is just an important part of every one of our programs. This is an opportunity for students like Annette and Davis to come together and pick a sustainability challenge around the world. It might be local, global, and you develop a business solution, an entrepreneurial idea to solve that sustainability challenge and offer some sort of real world solution. And at the end of that program, you present that to your peers and professors. And as you can see, there are some capstone projects here as examples about what other students have done in the past. Jessica is now working with WindAid, and they co-founded it from their capstone project that is working with volunteers in Peru, just connect to wind energy. And the other one on there that's really cool, all of them are awesome, but yeah, Ernesto did one where he actually developed a solar power car and then presented that to an environmental design firm. But yeah, Davis and Annette, can you tell us a little bit more about your capstone project, your group mates, and the project outcomes? Annette, we'll start with you.
Sure. So my team was about a group of 5 people, and we had all different range of disciplines. Some were environmental engineers, some were studying business, and some were like myself who were chemical engineering. But this allowed us to gain insight from a variety of perspectives, and everyone was able to apply their unique skills. Although we did attend the Peru program, we decided to base our capstone in underprivileged urban areas in Jakarta, in Indonesia. So our idea was to create a non-for-profit organisation that focused on reducing greenhouse gases while trying to improve the lifestyle of the community there. In order to do that, we decided to use home biogas toilets that could collect all the human waste and digest it, and all the gas collected will be used to locally heat water or small buildings or used for stovetops. And that way we will not only help the waste management and sanitation problems that occur in Jakarta, but we'll also improve the environment overall.
For my capstone project, we actually had a student from Monash University as well. He recommended algae biofuel production, and that would be done through maybe developing vertical algae farms in the landscape of Iceland. So Iceland, they produce a very large amount of their power and electricity through renewable or very clean means, but they do import about 10% of their energy through oil. And Iceland is an island, and it's very expensive to get oil since they don't produce it themselves. So we were thinking there's a lot of barren landscape here, and we could probably use that to develop algae biofuel. which tied in really well with the biofuel tour that we had in Iceland, which was through, they call it rapeseed. It's known as canola oil here in the US, but they produce basically diesel that you can put straight into any diesel engine and it works right away. And it's a lot cleaner than normal diesel that we use from the ground. So it's you can basically offset the carbon that you produce by burning this diesel through growing this algae. So it seemed like a very sustainable, a very smart way of going about things, since Iceland also has about 50% of their passenger cars are diesel as opposed to gas. So that's another very interesting thing that made it a unique sort of project for Iceland, which it kind of made it special, like the entire experience.
Thanks, Davis. Yeah, so as you can see, everyone listening, that whatever your background is, if you're a young professional, if you're studying economics, engineering, we've had graphic design people come on these programs. Everyone has an opportunity to shine in the capstone project and work together in this way. And a lot of people will end up talking about this with friends, family, and job interviews, developing is it a thesis. The capstone project is something you're going to tell everyone about. And also the adventure portion. It's just something that is like an incredible opportunity. When you're in all of these different sites, whether it be, hiking the glacier that I had mentioned before in Iceland, or exploring those World Heritage sites with such history and culture in Nepal. Peru, we're going whitewater rafting, zip lining, we're going to the field to do field studies and hiking. And then in Japan, we're doing that traditional Japanese archery. So whatever the adventure is, just know that everyone on the course is pumped and excited, and you have these like-minded people that want to travel and learn and make it purposeful, and really try to understand the culture in a meaningful way. How adventure fits in with everything, with all the courses, you're probably a little bit shocked and not sure how it all looks. So Davis, would you mind telling us a little bit about the day in the life of a day in Iceland, how you sort of incorporated all of these different pieces?
Yeah, so we first stayed at the Icelandic farmhouse that you see there on the screen. We'd wake up at around 6:30 or 7 for breakfast. They like to go pretty fast, so you might want to wake up before the indicated time. But we got on the bus probably around like 8 a.m. after some sandwiches, which I think is a European thing. That's sandwiches for breakfast. Never heard of that before. But we'd be on the bus to Reykjavik University. 9 a.m. we'd have lectures on the history of Iceland and geothermal, hydropower, biofuel, and the economic effect of using renewable energy. So those are sprinkled throughout the week, so obviously not all on the same day. But after lecture, we would go to the different facilities, whether it's the geothermal power plant, hydro power plant, or the biofuel facility that we saw. Lunch was often provided at the university too. And we had the opportunity to go get some food downtown in Reykjavik, but most of it will be provided, just letting you know. Later on, you might have some more adventure, some more hikes. We actually went into the woods and baked bread in the middle of the woods. So that was a very interesting experience that I never thought I'd have on this trip. Once you get back to whether you're at the farmhouse or a hostel, wherever you're at, have some really nice custom Icelandic dinner. What did I have? I think there was some really good lamb stew that I had. I'd never had lamb in my life. I really like it. And once we had dinner, chatted with all the wonderful people on this program, we got to work on our capstones. I found it pretty... You don't get as much time on the capstone as you'd think, but it makes you work extremely fast and extremely productive, which is something that I thought was an interesting challenge to get over, especially working with different people from different backgrounds. It was a very wonderful experience.
Yeah, thanks, Davis. And yeah, again, 8 to 10 days packing this. And what we hope is you take that capstone project, and many students have used it to also impact them after the program. Our programs do accelerate your career. That's a main thing that we have in mind with this hands-on experience. So yeah, as you can see, what the whole goal of returning after it is that you're able to sort of take this experience and talk about it in interviews. Some of our alumni are working at like General Electric, Boeing, NASA, Lockheed Martin. The list will continue to go on. And our founder actually jokes, like, if there's a company out there that is doing some like really good renewable energy work or sustainability, like we've probably had an alumni working there or pass through there. 90% of our alumni stay connected. So when you get back, you also have this access to this network of over 3,200 people. I said that before. And you know, our alumni are so cool. As you can see, Davis and Annette are just stellar people that are showing how our alumni reach out as mentors, career development. Like, you have opportunity to learn more about industry news and travel with us on alumni reunions. And our goal is really for you to be able to connect with these like-minded people after the program. And yeah, they're all over the world. Annette's joining us from Australia right now. And we have students come from over 70 different countries, 470 different universities, and all these young alumni as well. So as you can imagine, the Green Program does impact you in a lot of amazing ways. So whether it be your career or like your personal, professional life, a lot of students will come back. 99% will say that it helped refine them. So here we have like academic, personal, professional. Academic, like, we want to bring your classes to life. Personally, we want to develop that creative leadership, the teamwork, and the self-awareness that is necessary to help you grow. And then professionally, like I had just mentioned, you're gaining skill sets for the 21st century workforce. So Annette and Davis, you're going to talk about it better than I. Like, talk to us a little bit more about how the programs have impacted you personally, academically, professionally. Yeah, talk to us about the impact it's had on you.
Yep, so I definitely believe that this program has refined my purpose of why I wanted to study chemical engineering in the first place. So from visiting all the water treatment plants and hydro facility, I realized it's not just about making the process work, but a key aspect is how you can actually improve the process in order to reduce the emissions or even input ways to renew energy. I think another major impact I received from going to Peru was all the skills I developed from facing multiple challenges. It has made me more independent, more flexible, and more aware of my surroundings, which is important in life.
For me, I went into mechanical engineering not really knowing what I was going to do. I was just that kid who was kind of good at science and math. So going on this trip and taking an energy class, like an energy production class at school right before this, it basically narrowed me in on clean and renewable energy power production. So that's where I'd like to go later in life. Personally, I mean, studying abroad anywhere, going on a trip anywhere is a very unique experience. So, I mean, even though you're with probably the most accepting group of people I could ever imagine, you're still far from home. I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So, it's a test of your character. It's definitely an experience that changes you, and it definitely changed me, and that's all I could have asked for.
Thanks, Davis. Thanks, Annette. Yeah, another one of our alumni who I want to just briefly show how alumni continue to interact with us in many different ways. So Amanda here went to Penn State. And in 2015, we had the pleasure of her coming on one of our programs to Iceland. And then she ended up representing the Green Program on campus as a Green Ambassador, similar to what Davis and Annette are doing, to try to help other students learn about the program and help them also have this experience. And by doing so, like, she ended up, you know, seeing that there was this alumni reunion in Thailand and decided to go and connect with all of these different people from around the world. And, you know, she actually went on the program for free through our referral program. She ended up then graduating from Penn State and took the Green Program to actually land a job with GE. So she actually right now is like a renewable energy engineer at GE, and says that TGP was like definitely helpful in the interview process, like really helped push her resume along. And she's even returned to Iceland again as a green mentor on the program. So you can see there's lots of opportunities for professional development, our alumni are just doing incredible things. And we're really excited that the Green program for like Amanda and hopefully Annette and Davis, like that it really is impactful and it lasts a really long time. So yeah, I know that a lot of you probably have some questions about the Green program, about Davis and Annette's experience. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, we will just kind of cover some of them now. Cool, so I'm gonna check the chat bar. Thanks to everyone that's using that again and asking questions. I see that there's one there about funding. So for everyone who's thinking about funding and scholarships, know that, you know, at the Green program, if we have any scholarships or funding available, we'll definitely send them out. And, you know, a lot of things that I do personally is talk to students and help them leverage financial aid, the GI Bill, help them search for other scholarships on campus. And that's something that like I work with all of our accepted students. And for some students, it's so rewarding to see them work for like a really hard for an amount of time and be able to come on the program. So yeah, that's one reason why I always encourage people to apply sooner than later, is because I can help working with them throughout the entire process and answer all of those questions. So yeah, thanks for whoever asked about the funding and scholarship. Cool, I see another one. Annette and Davis, this one's gonna go to you. Yeah, how, Annette, have you used your Green program experience like after the program? What changed for you like post-program?
Yep, so through my experience, since I went to a lot of the water facilities, and I was able to gain a better insight and really solidify my knowledge of all the things that I learned in university. So by going and seeing it in real life, I've been able to understand better and be able to study more efficiently. And also, I have used the experience in many of my resumes and for applying for graduate jobs. So that's one of them as well.
Thanks. Yeah, Davis, same thing to you, passing it on. How have you used the Green program experience after the program?
So I recently was offered a sustainability fellowship position at my university. I unfortunately had a internship that I was already accepted to, but I had been seeking out these sustainability positions a lot more now, because it's certainly become a lot more important in my life, especially after this experience. I think that I'm definitely going to be seeking a position that will promote sustainability in some way in the future, which is probably the biggest change that I've experienced.
Yeah, that's incredible. Davis, thanks for sharing that, and congratulations on the internships, jobs. I know when I studied abroad, right before I was going to go pre-med, biology, like that was my one track. And then after seeing like the urgency of sustainable development, it ended up switching all, like my entire course. And I've been so thankful for that. So I'm glad that you and I share a little bit of that in common. Annette, there's another question as well. Can you give everyone that's listening a little bit of advice you have for students that are considering the Green program?
Yes, definitely. I think that you should take the chance and do apply, because you don't know where the Green program will take you, but it will definitely challenge you and it will definitely help you grow.
Davis, we'll throw it at you as well. Tell anyone who's listening, you know, a future greenie, yeah, why, what advice would you give them?
I think that this is an experience that everyone deserves, but obviously not everyone could have. So I think that if you're someone who wants to go on this program, you're motivated, you want to make a difference for our planet, then I think this is basically as good as it gets for especially short-term study abroad experience.
Yeah, thanks, Davis. Annette and Davis, that's great advice. Again, both of them are always offering themselves to give more advice, to connect with you. I can always connect any accepted student. So that's just another reason why it's really good to apply, so that we can connect you with other people that are either at your school or sharing similar interests as you. So yeah, thanks for everyone who submitted those questions. Those were really thoughtful, and yeah, we really appreciate them. For everyone who has more questions afterwards, because I know we're tight on time, please send them our way. In the beginning of the slide, you saw some of our emails, and you can send anything always to info@thegreenprogram. So next step, if any of this resonated with you, if you're someone who cares about intentionally going into the future as a sustainability leader, if you want to develop yourself, if you're someone who just like really wants to start the journey, and maybe you're like Davis and you're like, oh, how is sustainability going to impact me long term? You might not know. So yeah, we welcome all of you, and I want to encourage you to apply soon, just because those spaces do fill up on a first come, first served basis. So the sooner you apply, the more options you have. And yeah, we're working really hard. Our team is small, but we're gonna be able to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. So you don't have to just wait hours and days and weeks to hear back. This is something where we take it seriously as well. So yeah, again, if you're a student from any major, any year of study, you're a young professional. We've had grad students, people who are getting their PhD. I just spoke to someone today about getting their PhD, and they're so excited to come to Nepal and study with us. Hey, our team's here to help you. We're going to coordinate those details. We're going to answer your questions once you're accepted. And we're really looking forward to getting to know you more, and hopefully you'll join our alumni network and groups of all these incredible people like Davis and Annette. Davis and Annette, thanks again for taking the time just to join us on this adventure. I know that it's only begun for both of you, and all of us at Green Program are excited to see how you're going to grow and develop. And thanks again for offering your time, and for everyone else who took the time just to come and learn about the Green Program. So yeah, gonna sign off. See you, Annette. Bye, Davis. Thanks, Lauren.